of the South African morning. We all know what a water crisis we experience here in South Africa, but it's not just local, I'm afraid. Taps running dry globally as well. Business people and environmentalists like Mina Guli have taken it upon themselves to raise awareness about global water problems and the crisis itself. Listen to this. On average, women and girls spend an estimated 200 million hours hauling water every day, while more than 800 children under the age of 5 die from diarrhea caused by contaminated water and poor sanitation. So what is Mina doing? Well, deciding to run 200 marathons globally in the build-up. I was going to say run-up, but that seems too obvious, to the UN Water Conference. It's in March of next year to raise awareness of the state of the world's water supply. She's managed to stop running for a couple of minutes as she ran into Studio One here to join us this morning. Mina, good to have you with us. First of all, why? Why would you want to do this to yourself? Well done. But 200 marathons, I don't think people who run permanently have run 200 marathons. How are you feeling?
How am I feeling?
Yeah.
I'm a little bit overwhelmed by the challenge. I've said I finished number 64 yesterday, and each time I finish another one, I think this is just such a major achievement. And then I look at the number I've got to go, which is still 136.
Glad you could do the maths. I was trying to work it out.
So it's an overwhelming challenge, but so are big challenges that we're facing right now. Most people here in South Africa, and I know I'm from Australia, so we have very similar challenges, know that we're in the middle of a massive global water crisis, but it's hidden. I want the world to see it. I've seen it, and I want the world to see it, and not only to see it, but to take action to solve it. Action by governments. Governments have the capacity to set the agenda for change. Action by companies. Companies use almost 90% of the world's fresh water, directly or indirectly. Action from me. I've committed to run 200 marathons to show the urgency of the problem that we're facing and why we have to act. But ultimately, action from every single one of us, consumers, voters, individuals. We have the capacity to make real, meaningful change.
I always get the sense whenever we talk about water issues, I'm not sure if you followed much of what happens in an area called Nelson Mandela Bay. Basically, it's a drought area. I'm sure you'll know about this. A water crisis, day zero were the words being used. I still never get the sense that people take the issue of water very seriously. As South Africans, we get very angry about the petrol price. We get very angry about not having electricity. But water, I just get the sense people aren't taking it urgently. How do we begin to get people to do that? Why do we have to wait till we don't have it before we listen?
Yeah, I think it's like many other problems that we think that water is someone else's issue. Many people in positions of responsibility, leaders, live in cities and communities where they turn on a tap and water comes out. They flush a toilet and it flushes. And I think that we've lost sight that water isn't someone else's problem. Water is our problem too. An Indigenous community leader said to me in Australia when I was running literally in the outback, they said to me, decisions would be better if leaders could understand that things are different on the land. I think it's time for those on the land. I think it's time for the people in communities, the voiceless, to have a voice in these conversations, in these decisions that are made. And that's why we're running now, using 200 marathons to say enough is enough. For too long, water has been everything, but we've treated it as if it's nothing. And that needs to change. And the way that we change it is by giving voice to the voiceless, by bringing the lives, the communities, the stories of people on the ground into boardrooms, into places like this, into the media, and driving change.
And I'm seeing our viewers are busy watching, must be some of the visuals of you running through communities, talking to communities. I imagine you're gathering stories and tragic events as well where people have died. We spoke about poor water quality, diarrhea, children under the age of 5. Those are the stories you're going to be taking to the UN Water Conference. It's March next year, isn't it? So tell me about that build-up to there. What are you hoping to gain once you are there? What do you want them to do?
Well, it's two things. I think that the first thing is these are stories of tragedy, but there are also stories of hope. The stories are not just of the people that are dying in the front lines of the crisis of diarrhea, the kids, and the horrible stories of the people that I've met, completely heart-wrenching and heartbreaking, but also the stories of triumph and tribulation of the farmers and the farming communities and right throughout supply chains, because water isn't just the water that we drink from a tap. Water comes from ecosystems, and water is used in farms and farmlands across this amazing country, as well as countries across the world.
We need it for food production.
Food, clothing, just as an example, just what you're wearing today took more water to make than all the water you drink before you're 40 years old. Just one outfit. And that's just clothing, not including food and electricity and the power that's going into the cameras that we're using today.
This is all about social cohesion, raising awareness. So you're 64 marathons in?
Yeah,
is that
64
right?
down.
So you still got to. Are you running a marathon every day?
4 a week, basically.
Oh, sorry,
It works
4
out
a
to about
week.
4 a week. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
so
yeah.
you're
It's
buggering
easy,
around.
quite easy, really.
Oh, so you're buggering around, only 4 a week,
That's
4 marathons
exactly
a week.
right, yeah.
So what do you want people to do? You want them to contact you, to follow you, to donate? What's your call to action as you continue running and going through thousands of pairs of shoes?
Yeah. So our primary call to action is we're mobilising governments, companies and individuals in advance of the UN's Water Summit in 2023. So it's the first time the UN has got together in over 50 years to talk about water. The primary goal, the primary objective of the Run Blue campaign is to mobilise 200 companies to get them to commit to concrete action on water in advance of this summit in March next year. But we don't just want companies, we need governments and we also need individuals to step up. We have no time to waste. So our goal is to say to everyone everywhere, no matter what you run in your life, whether it's your household, your company, your daily decisions, run it blue and put water front of mind.
And congratulations, and I'm sure we'll speak again, or I would like to speak again when we get to that water conference for the UN in March 2023. All the best with the rest of the running as well. I'm sure you can go and follow Mina Guli as well. Not follow her literally, you won't keep up, but I'm sure you can go and follow her online as well and see how she does with the next over 100 marathons in the build-up to next year. Global water activist and ultra-marathon runner Mina Guli joining us on eNCA. All right.